Hey guys, we are back with some more Kingston Frontenacs franchise mode in Eastside Hockey Manager, and in this one, we're going to continue on the simulation in year number 5 and make our way towards the playoffs. And mid-season draft rankings update, Gus Hall has been ranked 95th by Scouting Services. Cameron McCulloch out for 3 weeks with a rotator cuff strain, my goodness. Julian Rosen also out for 3 weeks with a hip flexor strain. Great. Prefontaine out for 2 weeks with a foot contusion. And now both Prefontaine and McCulloch are back, so we're going to definitely get them back in the roster. And the OHL Player of the Month is Connor Lockhart in 9 games played, 6 goals, and 8 assists for Lockhart. Very nice. And the Rookie of the Month is Sault Ste. Marie's Connor Cole. So here at the beginning of February, what we find is that even through all the injuries that we had, we're still a very good team. We're currently first in our conference, and I believe we are also, yes, we are first in the entire league right now with 67 points. Oshawa's in 8th with 47. I don't think we have anything to worry about. As long as we don't lose every last game of the season that's left, we should be in the playoffs, no problem. There's really no reason to worry with this team. It's just we proved that at this point we are an extremely good team, even when we get injuries. Dean Taylor did most of the workload in that month. He now has 41 games played as opposed to what he last had was like 29, I think. So he played 12 games in that month and at an .871 save percentage now, .659 average rating. Ryan Paquette with an .850 and a .627. Defenseman, Eric Anderson with 31 points, Spencer with 29, McNeil with 23, Glover with 20, Pelletier with 13, Boyd with 12, Nola and Rosen with 4, Marino with 2. Average ratings, 756 for Anderson, a 738 for Spencer, a 719 for McNeil, a 703 for Glover, a 651 for Pelletier, a 640 for Marino, a 634 for Boyd, a 610 for Rosen, and a 564 for Nolet. Forwards, Connor Lockhart with 58 points in 41 games, 52 for Nussbaumer, 49 for Vaughn, 47 for Hall, 42 for LaPointe, 39 for McCulloch, 38 for MacArthur, 29 for Derelick, 26 for Morissette, 22 for Barry and Prefontaine, 21 for Rye, and then 9 for Beaudry, and 4 for Wisdom. Average ratings, 827 for Lockhart, 782 for Nussbaumer, 757 for Hall, 744 for LaPointe, 730 for Vaughn, 729 for MacArthur, a 728 for Barry, a 720 for Prefontaine, a 704 for Morissette, a 703 for McCulloch, a 7 for Wisdom, 698 for Derelick, a 695 for Rye, and a 655 for Beaudry. So you're seeing where the majority of our strength lies, and that is at forward. And now we'll take a look at the games for the past month. Game against Oshawa, we had a 4-2 loss, 2 goals by Hall. Then we had a 6-1 win against Barry with goals by Morissette, Vaughn, Morissette, Hall, Rye, and Beaudry. Then a 4-3 win against Mississauga, goals by Hall, Vaughn, Derelick, and Rye. And then post-trade deadline, not that we needed to make any trades because we're a very good team and we've won the championship for the past 2 years in a row. A 5-1 win over Mississauga, goals by Lockhart, Nussbaumer, Derelick, Beaudry, and LaPointe. A 6-3 loss against Kitchener, goals by Morissette, and Hall. Then a 10-3 win against Erie with goals by Hall, Derelick, Lockhart, Rye, Spencer, Hall, Barry, Glover. And that is 10-3 over the Erie Otters. A 3-2 overtime win over Oshawa, goes by Hall, and then the overtime goal by Vaughn. A 7-3 win over Oshawa. A hat-trick for Hall in the first period, then 2 for LaPointe in the next period, and then Anderson and Spencer to follow that for a 7-3 win. A 4-3 loss against Peterborough, goals by Lockhart, Glover, and MacArthur. 5-3 win against Sault Ste. Marie, goals by Lockhart, Beaudry, Anderson, Derelick, and LaPointe. A 4-3 overtime win against Flint, goals by Morissette, Hall, Prefontaine, and Barry. And a 5-3 win against Owen Sound with goals by LaPointe, Vaughn, Barry, Prefontaine, and Lockhart. Captain Connor Lockhart out for 2 weeks with a rotator cuff strain. No, Lockhart. He's had such a good season too. 74 points in 51 games. Are you kidding me, Lockhart? And the OHL Player of the Month for February is Flint's Randy Keane. And the OHL Rookie of the Month is Windsor's Giancarlo Bo. Taylor with an .872 save percentage, and Paquette went down to an .841 save percentage. Not good. .660 average rating for Dean Taylor, and a .620 for Ryan Paquette. Defenseman, 34 points for Eric Anderson, 33 for Spencer, 26 for Glover, 25 for McNeil, 17 for Pelletier, 12 for Boyd, 4 for Nola and Rosen, 3 for Marino, and nothing for Russo. He hasn't played yet. Average ratings, 753 for Anderson, 725 for Spencer, 707 for McNeil and Glover, 658 for Pelletier, 641 for Marino, 634 for Boyd, 610 for Rosen, and a 564 for Nolet. Forwards, Lockhart with 74 points, same for Nussbaumer. Hall has 64 points, Vaughn with 57, MacArthur with 50, Lapointe with 46, McCulloch with 45, Derelict with 32, Barry with 31, Morissette with 30, Prefontaine with 25, Rye with 23, Beaudry with 9, and Wisdom with 6. Average ratings, 824 for Lockhart, 789 for Nussbaumer, 762 for Hall, 734 for MacArthur and Barry, 725 for Lapointe, a 717 for Vaughn, 714 for Wisdom, a 710 for Prefontaine, a 703 for Morissette, a 696 for McCulloch, a 685 for Derelict, a 683 for Rye, and a 655 for Beaudry. And let's review the games from February. A 6-5 win over Sudbury with goals by MacArthur, Hall, Anderson, MacArthur, Nussbaumer, and MacArthur with the hat trick. And another game against Sudbury, but this time we lost 8-4. Goals by MacArthur, McCulloch, Prefontaine, and Derelict. A 5-2 win against Kitchener with goals by MacArthur, Morissette again, and then 2 goals by Lockhart. A 5-3 loss against Barry with goals by Nussbaumer, Hall, and Nussbaumer. Another 5-3 loss, this time against Flint, with goals by Nussbaumer, Lockhart, and Vaughn. A 6-3 win against Peterborough with goals by MacArthur, Lockhart, Barry, Lockhart, Spencer, and MacArthur. A 4-3 overtime loss against Ottawa with goals by Nussbaumer, Lockhart, and Barry. And then there was a 3-0 loss to Ottawa, so obviously no goals there for us. And a 6-5 win over Niagara with goals by Hall, Lockhart, Nussbaumer, Hall, Wisdom, and Nussbaumer. A 4-2 loss against Niagara with goals by Nussbaumer and Lockhart. A 4-1 win against London with goals by Hall, Morissette, Lapointe, and Barry. And then a 5-2 win over Mississauga with goals by Anderson and a hat trick for Hall, and then Rye. And Lockhart is back. Thank goodness, we need him for the playoffs that are coming up momentarily. We're at March 14th, and there's only a few days left in the regular season. And there you go. Gus Hall's 72 points for Kingston this season is a new record for a left winger, and Connor Lockhart's 75 points is a new record from a right winger as well. And there it is, the end of the regular season. So now let's check out the stats. So Dean Taylor with a .873 save percentage in 55 games played, a 662 average rating. Ryan Paquette got it back up there to an .855 save percentage and a 642 average rating. Defenseman Anderson with 41 points, Spencer with 35, Glover with 33, McNeil with 26, Pelletier with 21, Boyd with 12, Rosen with 6, Nolet with 4, Marino with 3, Russo didn't play. Average ratings, 752 for Eric Anderson, 723 for Spencer, 713 for Glover, 704 for McNeil, 668 for Pelletier, 641 for Marino, 634 for Boyd, 632 for Rosen, and a 564 for Nolet. Forwards, Nussbaumer with 83 points, Lockhart with 82 in 10 less games than Nussbaumer as well, my goodness. 78 points for Hall, 67 for Vaughn, 57 for MacArthur, 50 for Lapointe, 48 for McCulloch, 38 for Derelict and Morissette, 34 for Barry, 28 for Prefontaine, 27 for Rye, 10 for Wisdom, and 9 for Beaudry. Average ratings, 829 for Lockhart, 788 for Nussbaumer, 767 for Hall, 735 for MacArthur, 732 for Wisdom, a 729 for Barrie, a 719 for Vaughan, a 716 for LaPointe, a 707 for Prefontaine, a 706 for Morissette, a 687 for McCulloch, a 684 for Derelict, a 680 for Rye, and a 655 for Beaudry. So now let's review the last month of games here. We had a 5-2 win over Guelph with goals by Vaughan, Nussbaumer, McCulloch, Pelletier, and Nussbaumer. A 5-3 win over Hamilton with goals by LaPointe, Morissette, Derelict, Vaughan, and MacArthur. A 7-4 win over Oshawa with goals by Prefontaine, LaPointe, Morissette, Rye, Morissette with a hat-trick, and Rye again. A 3-2 win over Oshawa with goals by Vaughan, Morissette, and Vaughan. A 3-1 win over Barrie with goals by Hall, Morissette, and LaPointe. A 4-1 win over Ottawa with goals by Derelict, Hall, Anderson, and Rosen. A 4-1 loss against Hamilton with a goal by Hall. A 6-2 win against Hamilton with goals by Lockhart, Hall, Prefontaine, MacArthur, Lockhart, and Glover. And then to end off the regular season, a 5-2 win against North Bay with goals by Rye, Lockhart, Nussbaumer, Anderson, and MacArthur. And the final standings for the end of the regular season, we came first in the entire league with 96 points, 46-18, 1-3 was our record. We scored 308 goals. We allowed 229, so we allowed among the most in the league, but we scored way more than anybody else. Our power play was 21.8 efficiency. Our penalty kill was at a 73.5, so we were definitely an offensive team. And there it is. And that'll take us into the playoffs, and where we will face the Hamilton Bulldogs in round number 1. So this is it. This is year number 5. And who knows what'll happen after this year, whether we move on to a different team or not. That's still kind of up in the air. But for right now, we have to focus on winning the OHL Championship and the Memorial Cup once again. So with that, I'll end it here, and I'll see you guys in the next one when we go through the Year 5 playoffs.